Good evening, everybody. My name is Reverend Margaret Palagye, and I am appearing to you on behalf of Joyful Gathering Spiritual Center. I am the founding minister and so thrilled that you joined us this evening. We have a really great talk for you and then a prayer afterwards. So we are located at the Community Center in Collingswood, New Jersey. We will be opening again April 18th in person. So you might want to check out joyfulgathering.org, our website. All of our information is up on there. So tonight we're here live and we're here with another platform, YouTube. So we do both, and we will continue to do both. So right now I want to just let you know about our Wednesday night prayer and meditation. Would like to join you. Zoom links are up on our website, joyfulgathering.org. So you might want to check out what we have up there. We have 2 classes coming up in May. All that information is on that fabulous website that we have. So just to let you also know, we have a number of minister practitioners who have been praying ceaselessly, truly. Every week we do prayer requests via the computer, and they have been praying, well, forever, but they've been praying with their prayer requests, which you can also enter on our website every week, every day, for each and every person that has a prayer request. If you would like a private session with them, their numbers are up on that website, their emails are up there. Just get in touch with them and do yourself a favor. So right now, we're going to begin our talk by taking a breath. Okay? Take that nice, lovely breath. Bring ourselves to center right here in this present moment. So, the name of our talk is A Sensible Viewpoint, or Practical Spirituality, because I like that title better. So, our wonderful New Thought teaching, I want to talk to you about this, because this is a spirituality you can really use every day, and you're going to see why by the end of this talk. So, our spirituality teaches and promotes self-knowledge and conscious spiritual growth as the paths to returning to our innate wholeness. We are whole, complete, and perfect. That means truly, absolutely, there is nothing missing within us. It reminds us to draw the strength and wisdom from the spiritual universe by really looking within, because we know that the kingdom of the God, the kingdom of the divine, resides within each and every one of us. And tonight we'll continue our walk, because that's the theme for the month, in peace and love. But we're gonna explore 4 aspects of our teaching. This is what it is. Our teaching is practical, positive, passionate, and personal. And these are our teachings and how they combine together to give us a sensible point of view, a most sensible point of view indeed. So, I believe the sensible viewpoint, which is that higher consciousness, offers us ways to move through life and make conscious choices. Because once we start living from that place of consciousness within us, it becomes the only thing that makes sense. And I've always said to me, this science of mind, this New Thought spirituality, which is as old as can be, as you'll see, and as new as this breath that I'm taking now, makes such sense to me. And that's why I can be passionate about it, because it is the most sensible way to live life. So without any further delay, let's jump to it, okay? So, first we're going to explore, this teaching is practical. Ernest Holmes wrote this: there is a power for good in the universe, and you can use it. Isn't that great? Holmes also wrote in Living the Science of Mind, the science of mind is intensely practical because it teaches us how to use mind principles for definite purposes, such as helping those who are sick, impoverished, unhappy. Each one of us, this is Holmes, should learn to become a conscious user of its power. The power already exists, but the existence of power is of no particular value unless we use it. Unless we use it. So this is not a come to Sunday or Saturday night, if you will, church. No. It's nice to hear a great message. It's always uplifting, especially when we're there in person. But this is a living your life in this manner. That is what our spirituality is about. You can take this. That's why the classes are so very important and key to our spiritual growth. We learn so much about our spirituality, about our community, by being with like-minded people. And we can come and we can listen to all these talks as much as we want, but if we don't go out and live it, it truly is of little value, except for making us feel good momentarily. As you know, we feel very strongly about the classes that we teach here at Joyful Gathering Spiritual Center. We teach how to live a happy and spiritual life. We teach. We explore new ways of thinking and being in the world, how we can show up, how we can think differently. Here are some tools. We have tools, so many tools to use, and we repeat them until we master them. You might say that New Thought can be compared to a super deluxe Swiss Army knife, of which I used to have. And as I was doing this talk, I'm like, I have to buy this again because I love Swiss Army knives. But anyway, for the sake of this talk, it's like a Swiss Army knife. Most of us never use more than one blade, right? Or here's another analogy or example, is a computer that has everything possible on it, and we never take the time to learn. So these tools, the knife or the computer, could perhaps make life a lot easier for us, but they don't do us any good unless we use them. And in order to use them, we have to learn how. We have to learn how. Same with the spiritual principles. We go to a New Thought center, spiritual center, but do we learn the practices, the principles? Do we really learn them and use them? And that's why we emphasize so much the use. This is a practical spirituality. In the middle of difficult circumstances, have we trained ourselves to go to that place in our consciousness that might say, wait, I will learn a lesson from this. I'm going to learn a lesson. It doesn't feel good, but there's a lesson in here somewhere for me. You will get that lesson. You will get it. Have we said, I claim the good of the divine. I claim it now. It is my birthright. Do we say that? God, help me see the peace in this situation. Even if we have to do it like a mantra, it gets us to the other side of the challenge, and we can absolutely change the outcome by the way we respond to any circumstance. Affirmative prayer or treatment, which I'll do at the end, that's our most powerful tool. That is a technique that we learn, but it is so powerful, speaking in the positive and claiming our good. Experimental psychologist Martin Seligman once wrote this: "One of the most significant findings in psychology in the last 20 years is that individuals can choose the way they think." He was echoing philosopher and father of psychology William James, who wrote, "The greatest discovery of my generation is that a human being can alter his life by altering his attitude and mind." Isn't that the truth? It is the truth. We are not victims of life. We are powerful creators of life. Ernest Holmes said very simply, "Change your thinking, change your life." All of whom were echoing the master teacher Jesus, who said to the Roman centurion, as recorded in Matthew chapter 8, verse 13, "As thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee." So be it done unto thee. As we think, so we shall reap. That is what that means. Or perhaps it was Buddha, who existed 600 years before Jesus, who said this: "All we are is the result of what we have thought." All we are is the results of what we have thought. Whoever said it first really doesn't matter. What matters is that new thought teaches us how to think and how to take the higher point of view, or in another word, align or resonate in a higher vibration. We can do this consciously. The important point is that it doesn't mean that challenges will not occur in our lives. They will. They will, because we're living a human experience. Stuff happens. It's how we respond to the stuff within ourselves, how we respond to it, the changes that absolutely change. Even if we have to have, sometimes I have to have a real discussion with myself, because I'll say something about what's going on, but my inside is going, "Oh, you don't really believe that. You know better than that. The universe always supports you. See yourself doing this. See, the thing is already accomplished." So it's all a work in progress. We're all a work in progress. And that's good, because we're moving in the right direction. Thank you, God. Thank you, God, that we're moving in the right direction. Remember, as I've said many times, when you're going through hell, don't stop and build a condo. Keep on walking. Keep on moving. Do not stay in that stagnation of discomfort. Keep moving forward. The universe, the law doesn't know big or small. Those little steps we take all add up. This is the truth. And that leads us right into, this teaching is positive, if you didn't get that from me so far. It is. It's all positive. Not just positive feel-good thinking to wash over difficult issues. Not that at all. But it's much, much deeper than that. We look to God, to the divine intelligence. We look to it. We recognize that the great I am is the core of all. God is all there is. And that's the truth. And we are all creations of this divinity. And so we call that right thinking. Not right in the moral sense. We're not talking about that at all. But rather in a way of thinking that focuses more about peace and love and harmony. Wrong thinking, on the other hand, I have to do quotation marks on that, is when we don't think in that vein, and we suffer from that. So, right thinking is when we align with the infinite love of God, which is right within us. That brings me back to Ernest Holmes. He wrote this: "That which thought has done, thought can undo." Lifelong habits of wrong thinking can be consciously and deliberately neutralized. Merely to abstain from wrong thinking is not enough. Hear that? It's not enough. There must be some active right thinking. We must become actively constructive in our thinking. So this is all action. Thought is an action. It's a verb. It's a verb. When we are taking it, where we are developing our consciousness, as I'm going to finish Ernest Holmes. He goes, "We should take the highest thought we have and attempt to enlarge on this consciousness until it embraces a more vital concept. If one wishes to demonstrate prosperity, he must first have a consciousness of prosperity. If he wishes health, he must embody the idea of health. This is more than faith," he writes. "It is the knowledge that we are dealing with the law." And when you're dealing with the law, what you put in is what you receive in one way or another. It might not unfold exactly how we think it's going to, but it will. It will unfold. That law of cause and effect is always in operation. And so we see this teaching is positive because we know about the law of mind in action. Thoughts held in mind produce their own kind. Thoughts held in mind produce their own kind. Your belief, just your belief, is all that lies in between you and freedom. Your belief, what you think, your belief system. If we are feeling limited or tethered in any area of our life, we can break free at any moment. We are free to choose a new thought. We are. Isn't that empowering? We don't have to live with the old belief system of we're not good enough, we're not worthy enough, we're never going to make it. That's a thought that becomes a belief. Change your thinking, change your life. We may not be able to move to the affirmative side of life immediately. It's not going to happen like right away. It could happen right away, but usually it doesn't. And it's wonderful to have that support system. And it really helps if you're connected to any kind of like-minded person or all of these spiritual centers that are all over the world, actually, just to be in community. That's what I absolutely crave, is to be in community with like-minded people. It's so uplifting. So this teaching can change your life for the better by teaching you how to look at the affirmative side of life, the higher point of view, the higher point of view. And that leads us into this teaching is passionate. I love passionate. I'm passionate about a lot of things. Anyone that knows me knows that. Passion is wonderful. So, a life lived in true spirituality is a passionate and alive life. Passionate and alive. Let me illustrate this type of passion and enthusiastic life that I'm referring to. There once was a farmer who had a female pig. He decided that he wanted to raise pigs, so he made arrangements with a farmer in a nearby town to breed her with the other farmer's male pig. On the appointed day, the farmer loaded his pig in the truck, drove to the nearby town, and the breeding process occurred. The owner of the female pig said to the other farmer, "How will I know if this has taken?" "Well," said the second farmer, "in the morning, if she's walking around in circles in her pen, then you'll know it has." The next morning, The farmer looked out of his window, very excited and hope in his heart, only to find his pig wallowing in the mud. So he loaded her back in the truck and took her to the breeder again. The next morning, he looked out the window again with excitement in his heart, only to see the pig rolling around in the mud. Frustrated, for the third time, he loads her into his truck and takes her to the breeder. The next morning, he can't bear to look out the window, so he calls his wife in, and he says, "Is she lying in the mud?" "No," said the wife. Excitedly, he said, "Is she walking around in circles?" "No," his wife replied. "Well, if she's not in the mud and she's not walking around in circles in the pen, what is she doing?" said the frustrated farmer. To which the wife replied, "She is sitting in the truck, honking her horn." If we were live, that's a joke. There would be a lot of laughter. Passion. Are you sitting in the truck honking your horn about your life? Or are you passionately living it? That's the question, my friends. That's the question. Are you enthusiastically embracing the fullness of the gift of life that we each have been blessed with, by the way? This is a gift. Each day truly is a gift. Jesus told us not to hide our light under a bushel, but to let it shine from the mountaintop. We are called to live. The divine nature in you is calling you, each and every one of us, to wake up and live bigger, live happier, braver, more dynamically. We're not serving the world by playing small, by being consumed with fear. We don't serve any purpose living our life like that. Overcome the fears by trusting that there is a universal good that is always in operation and truly is always working for us. Even in those challenging situations, the good of God is always working for us. So finally, but very, very important, is teaching that this is very personal. It's personal. Holmes wrote this in The Science of Mind. We should think of God not as a principle forever pushing forward into expression, but as an infinite person. In other words, if we merely think of an abstract principle and a mathematical law of cause and effect, we shall lose all the color and warmth. We should be very careful, he wrote, in abstracting the principle, not to forget the essence, the pure essence of this divine energy. It is filled with love. It is filled with limitless possibilities. We believe that God is personal to each and every one that feels that indwelling presence, that we are individualized creations of this divine nature, and we can never be separated from this love. It is who we are. It is our eternal true selves. But our thought can keep us a barrier up. So remember that. Change your thinking, change your life. I want to leave you with a daily thought. I want to leave you with a daily thought from Science of Mind magazine. And so this is a number of years ago, and it was written by Reverend Jesse Jennings. He wrote this: I've discovered that a lot of things that didn't make the least bit of sense to me when I first encountered the Science of Mind teachings now make more sense than anything else before or since. perhaps it would be a good idea to note this in our teaching material. Dear students, please don't worry if this material contradicts all the other information in your head. You didn't believe most of that the first time you heard it either. What emerges from a steady practice of living an affirmative life makes us forget there was ever a time where we felt it wasn't present. I can remember, but I can't feel how I felt 30 years ago when I discovered the spirituality and I had a hole and emptiness in my heart, in my soul, in my very being. And so I searched and I prayed to the Holy Spirit to find something. I didn't know about New Thought. I didn't know about any of that. And that was 30 years ago, and ever since I made that decision and found a spiritual community and got into reading Ernest Holmes, my life has just progressed. Lots of stuff happened. Like I said, stuff is going to happen. But through it all, I would turn to the divine within me, knowing that intelligence knew exactly what to do. This is the gift of this spirituality that we speak of, that we teach. So science of mind is not just a technique, but it's a whole way of being. It's a whole way of living our lives, feeling and acting as though the very best in everything is fully occurring in our lives. And when we turn the next corner, because the Lord's responding to that, that's what we're going to find. We are going to express our lives in as much joy and happiness and love and peace as we choose. It works if you work it, right? It works if you work it. So God bless each and every one, and stay tuned for my prayer, which is to follow.